Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to my drive-by. June 12th, 92 degrees. I'm heading to Arcadia, Florida. I'm on Highway 769. County Road 761 I'll be turning on up here in about 6 or 7 miles to get down to Arcadia. Got about 33 minutes, 24 miles, 24.6 miles. Everybody is doing good. Listen, I wanted to bring up a subject here, and this is going to be about a specific modification that I've seen a few people on YouTube doing, modifying the safety plunger, okay, or the firing pin safety. Got two names. Basically what it is, if you take your slide off your gun, and if you look above this picture, right above my head here, above this where this light is, there's a little picture, an inset. I'll keep the inset in the photograph so you can, in the drive-by so you can see it. But that is the safety, firing pin safety or safety plunger. It's just a little small piece, you know, looks like actually a barbell that you would lift weights with in your hand. With a round part, like a barrel at one end, and a rounded off part on the top with, you know, like a groove in the middle of it. Makes a spring in the back of it. The purpose of that is to put pressure on the firing pin to prevent the firing pin going forward. Now, if we think about this, the things it depends on, okay, to keep the firing pin from firing is the tension of the spring, okay, in the back of this little plunger pushing it down, and the tension or spring pressure of the firing pin spring. Those are the two things, I guess, stationary, kind of, it would depend on. Okay, so when we think about modifications, what do you think are really popular modifications on Glocks? New firing pins, new firing pin springs, new safety plungers, titanium safety plungers that come with their spring, lighter springs. So what's happening now, even though, okay, so what happens is, let me just tell you how the safe action system works, and you can see where this falls in the whole scheme of things. All right, at rest, okay, at rest, your trigger is locked, okay. It won't move forward unless you press on it and not lock it. Also, the safety plunger is being pushed down out of the bottom of the slide. There's a little rounded end in there, and it's being pushed down, okay. The pressure it pushes down is holding the firing pin kind of in place. Then there's also in the back of it a ledge that comes up. It's the drop safety. It holds the back of the striker. So when you pull the trigger, you basically energize the firing pin, which means on the trigger bar there's a little hub, like a little nub, and that pushes up the safety plunger. Okay. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Okay. And then the same time, that trigger bar in the back moves off that ledge and engages the back of the firing pin or striker or whatever, okay, and pushes it back, okay, to give it tension. It has to have tension there, pulling it back. And then as that little nub pushes up on the safety plunger, once it pushes all the way up, once that resistance of that spring, the firing pin goes forward, hits your cartridge, and fires. So if the plunger is real easy to push up, okay? And you highly polish that plunger a lot, you can actually force the gun into full auto fire. So you got to be really careful with that part. I would probably not get, maybe get a factory part, but I would take mine and get it plated. Send it over to Titanium Gun Coating Services Group and just get it titanium plated. I think you're just better off because you've still got a factory Glock part with a factory spring in it. Those aftermarket springs, you got to be really careful. When you go around changing safety plunger springs, and safety plungers in general, and polishing them and all that, you really got to kind of be careful because that resistance in the Glock is there for a reason. Even like on my Glock, when I did it, I never changed the firing pin spring. I changed the connector, but I put a factory connector in there. I put a New York 1 trigger spring. My trigger bar assembly, I just titanium coated it. Okay, that's all I did, and put it back in. I didn't put a different trigger system in. I did put a cider lock because I like that cider lock. So you got to be very careful on the safety plunger. And I will go into depth with a whole Glock class training video. Maybe I'll do that for the my next video, the safety plunger, because that safety plunger or the firing pin safety is a very critical part of the Glock gun, and you don't want to go about sanding all that down and polishing that and putting different springs in there. You could literally cause full auto in your gun, because what would happen, okay, figure it this way, if that safety plunger is not there, let's say you take it out even, then there is nothing to stop the firing pin from protruding through the slide. And if it does that, then what you're going to have is like on older Mac 10s, where they just had the little end protruding. It'll hit it and go back, hit it and go back, hit it and go back, hit it, and that's it. And it'll just, if you get into auto fire, and for some reason the ATF agent's there, you're going to jail for the felony because you've just made a full auto gun. So you got to be very careful on that. I would basically, just be careful. I'm going to dial it up a little. You can polish it a little bit. I wouldn't do it too much. And I didn't know, and I'm probably guilty of this too, because I polish a lot of parts on my guns and my Glocks. But see, I don't change out all the springs and all that. But yeah, the firing pin safety, you've got to be very careful. There's a few pictures of it here. I will be getting some videos up. I do have some links to training videos, and all my drive-bys that I'm talking about Glocks, I'm going to have links to the firearms training and the Glock training videos. So check them out, see what you think, and let me know, okay? But I just want you guys to be safe. You got to be very careful, like I say once again, in modifying that firing pin safety or safety plunger. I would just be super careful, especially just for sure don't change the spring because, whoops, the camera fell down. For sure don't change the spring because you're just asking for a headache. And I am on Highway County Road 761. I'll be turning on Highway 17 on my way to Arcadia. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.